What up, y'all? It's your boy, Mr. Dan Ray Melo, and you're listening to the Entertainment Report on iHeartRadio, live from Dubai for Wednesday, May 2nd, 2018, delivering some major stories and trends going on in the world of entertainment and beyond. You can follow the show on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, facebook.com/The Entertainment Report with Ray Melo, that's RAYMELO, on Twitter at The Enter Report, or on Instagram at The Entertainment Report. You can listen to the show anytime you want on iHeartRadio. Just go to iHeart.com or your iHeart phone app, search for the Entertainment Report, and it'll take you to the page. Tuesday brought two sides of Kanye West. The first was a man who opened up about his mental health, his family, and his art in a nearly 2-hour interview with radio host Charlamagne the God. The nearly 2-hour interview was released Tuesday, but according to a tweet from Charlamagne the God, their conversation was recorded on April 18th, a few days after West resurfaced on Twitter to share a series of tweets that have prompted fans and critics to question his mental wellness. First off, West says he wants an apology from President Barack Obama, who called him a jackass in 2009 for interrupting Taylor Swift's speech at the MTV Video Music Awards. West says sometimes a conversation can help show respect for a situation. He says, "I'm the leader of the free world, Yee. I'm sorry for calling you a jackass. I appreciate your honesty. I appreciate your Gemini, your Tupacness. I appreciate that someone is going to do it, but I'm president and I can't do that." West addressed his 2016 hospitalization, an incident he prefers to call a breakthrough rather than a breakdown. A source at the time told CNN that West was treated for exhaustion. West says his wife Kim Kardashian West's robbery in 2016 weighed in on him heavily. He also cited other reasons that may have contributed to his health problems. West said, referencing to his hospitalization, "Being in competition with so many elements at one time, on a race against your time, your age, you're getting old, race against popularity on the radio, St. Pablo ain't playing." And he also added that he's happy it happened, but recalled the traumatizing moment when hospital staff separated him from his friends, whom he asked to stay present. He said, when you're in a hospital bed and you're next to your friend and you tell them, "Don't let this person leave my side," and they put you inside an elevator and take all your friends away from you, that was the scariest moment of my life. That's something that has to change. West says he thinks his beef with Taylor Swift is the reason his songs don't get much airtime on the radio. After the infamous VMA interruption in 2009, West and Swift had another dispute in 2016 over whether she approved lyrics West wrote in his song Famous, in which he said, "Me and Taylor might still have sex. Why I made that bitch famous." He says, "Ever since the Taylor Swift moment, it's never been the same. The connection with radio, it's like whatever powers that be was much harder after that." West also discussed what he believes is Obama's failure to reduce violence in their shared hometown of Chicago, but acknowledged the president's job is difficult. West says, "I might be president one day." Midway through the interview, "I might be in that situation where it's hard for me to explain to the masses why something isn't happening that they feel the complex of a president should be able to fix." West says he is on medication, but he is not talking to a professional therapist. He says, "I use the world as my therapy. Anyone I talk to is my therapist. I will put them in the conversation of what I'm feeling at that point and get their perspective. I'll talk through things, anybody that I'm around, and I put that as advice to people. Use people around you as your therapist because they probably know more about you." He didn't specify what medication he is using, but he did say it's an imperfect solution. It helps calm him down, and there is power in being controlled and calm. West talked about why he and Jay-Z have apparently drifted apart over the years. West says although they haven't seen each other recently, they do keep in touch. He says, "We're good. We're texting each other as positive energy. I haven't seen him, but I can feel him." He admitted that he was hurt that Jay-Z and his wife Beyonce did not attend his 2014 wedding to Kardashian. He says, I got to say I was hurt about them not coming to the wedding. I understand they were going through some things. If it's family, then you're not going to miss a wedding. I'm not going to use this interview to put any negative things out, but I have my state of truth." The second side was a Kanye who appeared at the TMZ headquarters, where he had this to say: "When you hear about slavery for 400 years, that sounds like a choice." The rapper went on to add, "You were there for 400 years and it's all of y'all. It's like we're mentally imprisoned." Provocative statements are second nature to the 40-year-old rapper. And this week he's been making headlines left and right, including proclaiming his love for President Donald Trump. But when he made his offhand remark about slavery, TMZ employee Van Latham took him to the task for him. Latham says, while you are making music and being an artist and living the life that you've earned by being a genius, the rest of us in society have to deal with these threats to our lives. We have to deal with the marginalization that comes from the 400 years of slavery that you said for our people was a choice. Latham added, frankly, I'm disappointed, I'm appalled, and brother, I'm unbelievably hurt by the fact that you have morphed into something to me that's not real. As his words lit Twitter on fire, Kanye tried to explain what he meant, and he released a series of tweets Tuesday evening. The first tweet he wrote, to make myself clear, of course, I know that slaves did not get shackled and put on a boat by free will. My point is, for us to have stayed in that position, even though the numbers were on our side, means that we were mentally enslaved. And then Kanye quickly made it about Kanye. He says the reason why I brought up the 400 years point is because we cannot be mentally imprisoned for another 400 years. We need free thought now. Even the statement was an example of free thought. It was just an idea. Once again, I'm being attacked for presenting new ideas. Immediately following the interview airing, the Twitter universe reacted. Glee star Kevin McHale retweeted the clip, writing, so this is why education reform from the ground up should be the priority. He added, I'm not even mad at Kanye. I think what he publicly is doing is a perfect example of how a large portion of the country feels and thinks. There's a tide of miseducation and falsehoods and conspiracies that prey on those who are susceptible. Kanye is one of them. McHale continued by saying, to fix that, we need great education for everyone from day one in every part of this country. Look, we love Kanye because he's a genius musical artist, but we don't have to co-sign the rest of it. Former MTV VJ Dave Holmes wrote, paying attention to Kanye West, that feels like a choice. Jamie Lee Curtis also tweeted, there is fact and real world, real live consequence behind everything you just said. The rest of us in society have to deal with these threats to our lives. We have to deal with the marginalization for the 400 years of slavery that you said for our people was a choice. At Van Latham. Jimmy Kimmel called his entire TMZ appearance wild by saying what at Kanye West is doing and saying right now on at TMZ Live is so wild. At Harvey 11, TMZ put his cup down. Feminist writer Roxanne Gay tweeted, I don't have the energy for nonsense, but Kanye is a free moron who doesn't read. And Questlove wrote, what in the Andy Kaufman is going on here? Asked Questlove, invoking the late comedian with a reputation for being erratic. John Cryer says it all makes sense now in response to West's slavery comments. Journalist Phil Manwantaniki tweeted in support of Latham, years from now, people will ask, where were you when this dude shut up Kanye West? Writer Oliver Willis joked his congratulations to Fox News for hiring Kanye. Matt Johnson likened West to Samuel L. Jackson's character Stephen from Django Unchained, a twisted slave who sees himself as above other people of color. Want to feel old? This is Kanye West now. Filmmaker Matthew Cherry thanked Latham for stepping in. Man at Van Latham, thank you for saying what you did say to Kanye. Paul Rudd and Evangeline Lilly became a crime-fighting duo in the latest trailer for the upcoming Marvel sequel Ant-Man and the Wasp. The clip released Monday features Ant-Man, played by Rudd, receiving backup from Wasp, played by Lilly, after a new villain known as Ghost, played by Hannah John Kamen, steals technology from original Ant-Man Hank Pym, played by Michael Douglas. Ant-Man and Wasp are seen learning how to work together as they take on Ghost, who can walk through walls. Ant-Man says about his new partner's hard-hitting fighting style, she seems more intense. The trailer also features Ant-Man in his giant form attempting to stop a car full of criminals, and Wasp fighting a group of men inside a kitchen where she utilizes a giant salt shaker. Ant-Man's trusted friend Luis, played by Michael Pena, makes an appearance along with Lawrence Fishburne as a former partner of Pym who could also grow in size. Ant-Man and the Wasp from returning director Peyton Reed is set to arrive in theaters July 6. Michelle Pfeiffer is also set to star as Janet Van Dyne, the mother of Lily's Hope Van Dyne and wife to Pym, who was the original Wasp and who is believed to be dead. The cast of Marvel's Avengers Infinity War, including Benedict Cumberbatch, Samuel L. Jackson, Chris Evans, among others, took part in another edition of Mean Tweets on Jimmy Kimmel Live. The one fan tweeted towards Benedict Cumberbatch, who portrays Doctor Strange in the Marvel films, Benedict Cumberbatch always looks like he has an allergic reaction to bad shrimp. Jackson, who plays Nick Fury, read from a commentator before starting to laugh as an image of a snapping turtle was placed alongside him. Also, while I'm comparing old men to reptiles, ever noticed that Samuel L. Jackson looks like a snapping turtle? Evans was unable to control his laughter after reading a tweet that criticizes his portrayal of Captain America. The tweet says, perhaps Chris Evans is in truth a great actor, but he plays Captain America like he's a big dumb hunk of shit. Avengers star Tom Hiddleston, Don Cheadle, Scarlett Johansson, Elizabeth Olsen, Tom Holland, Anthony Mackie, Chadwick Boseman, Paul Rudd, Dave Bautista, Winston Duke, Sebastian Stan, Karen Gillan, Paul Bentley, and Chris Pratt were also featured in the skit. Infinity War was the #1 film in North America by earning $250 million. The number is a new domestic box office record for biggest opening weekend, putting Infinity War ahead of Star Wars The Force Awakens, which earned $248 million in its first week. John Cena has landed the lead role in Universal's upcoming action thriller, The Jansen Directive, that his former WWE rival Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson will executive produce. The Jansen Directive is based on a novel of the same name by Jason Bourne author Robert Ludlum. The book follows Paul Jansen, an ex-Navy SEAL and former member of a secret government organization, who becomes a security consultant and takes on a job rescuing an important man. Jansen is then targeted after the mission fails and then begins to uncover a government scandal. Johnson was originally attached to star, but decided to move into an executive producer role due to his busy schedule, Variety reported. Johnson is executive producing through his Seven Bucks production company alongside Danny Garcia. Johnson announced Cena's casting on Instagram alongside a video of himself congratulating the WWE superstar and recounting the pair's main event bout at WrestleMania 29. The Rock said, found my star. Congrats to my good bud John Cena on landing the lead role for our movie, a project that myself at 7 Bucks Prod, our production partners, and Universal Studios have been developing for years now. Congrats, man. I'm excited to go on this journey with you. Thank you for your commitment to the role. And remember, as a producer, if you screw up, I'm going to set and drop the people's elbow on you, and you know firsthand how devastating my elbow drop can be. Congrats, my friend, and let's make a good one. Referencing to one of the finishing moves in WWE, the people's elbow. Cena was last seen in the Universal comedy Blockers. He will star in Paramount's upcoming Transformers spin-off, Bumblebee. Mel Gibson is attached to direct a World War II drama titled Destroyer that centers on the Battle of Okinawa and the USS Laffey. Destroyer from Hollywood Gang Productions is based on author John Wojciechowski's novel book Hell from the Heavens, the epic story of the USS Laffey and World War II's greatest kamikaze attack. The USS Laffey withstood multiple kamikaze attacks, giving it the name The Ship That Would Not Die, Variety reported. Rosalind Ross, Gibson's longtime girlfriend who worked on the television series Matador, wrote the script. Destroyer will be Gibson's second World War II offering. He directed 2016's Hacksaw Ridge, starring Andrew Garfield, that also took place during the Battle of Okinawa. Gibson is also being eyed to appear in Warner Bros. Adaptation of The $6 Billion Man, starring Mark Wahlberg in the lead role. The Iowa Reporter noted, the pair last started opposite each other in the comedy sequel Daddy's Home 2. Gibson is also developing a sequel to The Passion of the Christ, tentatively titled The Resurrection. Gibson, who directed The Passion of the Christ, is expected to produce, direct, or do both. Jim Caviezel, who portrayed Jesus Christ, is in negotiations to return back to the movie. HBO announced Tuesday it has ordered a third season of Westworld, its science fiction drama starring Evan Rachel Wood and Thandie Newton. The renewal announcement was made by Casey Boyles, the president of programming, the cable network said. Boyles said in a statement, "It's been an extraordinary pleasure to work with the exceptionally talented Jonathan Nolan and Lisa Joy, as well as their gifted cast and crew. From the inspired storytelling to the incredible visuals, we're so excited to see where this next chapter takes us." Season 2 of the show about the artificial consciousness started airing April 22nd. The series co-stars Jeffrey Wright and James Marsden. Arrested Development creator Mitch Horowitz said Tuesday that a 5th season of his star-studded comedy will be available on Netflix very shortly. He tweeted, "Like real soon, like if you knew when, you would not be wrong to be thinking, why are we all just hearing this now?" He did not reveal who from the cast returned for the fresh run of episodes. Previous seasons star Jason Bateman, Jessica Walter, Will Arnett, Tony Hale, Portia de Rossi, David Cross, Michael Cera, and Ali Shawkat. Horowitz said a remixed version of Season 4 will be posted on the streaming service Friday. He wrote, "It's funny in a whole new way." Seasons 1 through 4 are now on Netflix. The show about the dysfunctional Blue family had a 3-season run on Fox from 2003 to 2006 and was revived for a 4th season on Netflix in 2013. The streaming service confirmed last year that the series will return for a 5th season in 2018, and Bateman announced on social media last August that production was underway. The dark comedy Heathers is scheduled to debut July 10th, Paramount Network said Tuesday. The show's Twitter account tweeted, "Just when you thought it was safe to leave your house wearing jorts." The announcement announced in February it decided to delay the March 7th start of its violent teen saga in the wake of the mass shooting at the high school in Parkland, Florida. Paramount said in a news release at the time, Paramount's network original series Heathers is a satirical comedy that takes creative risks in dealing with many of the society's most challenging subjects, ranging from personal identity to race and socioeconomic status to gun violence. While we stand firmly behind the show in light of the recent tragic events in Florida and out of respect for the victims, their families, and loved ones, we feel the right thing to do is delay the premiere until later this year. Heathers is a contemporary remake of the 1988 film starring Winona Ryder, Christian Slater, and Shannon Doherty. The new version features Grace Victoria Cox as high school student Veronica Sawyer and James Scully as her murderous boyfriend J.D. Melanie Field portrays Heather Chandler, Brendan Scannell as Heather Duke, and Jasmine Matthews as Heather McNamara, Veronica's wicked frenemies. The Broadway adaptations of the high school comedy Mean Girls and the animated underwater series SpongeBob SquarePants leads the pack with 12 nods apiece when the Tony Award nominations were announced Tuesday morning. The shows will compete with The Band's Visit and Frozen in the top category of Best Musical. Angels in America, The Band's Visit, and Carousel followed close behind with 11 nominations each, and Harry Potter and the Cursed Child and My Fair Lady earned 10. Hamilton alum Leslie Odom Jr. and Waitress star Catherine McPhee read the names out loud in a live stream event. Winners will be announced at a ceremony June 10th at New York City's Radio Music Hall. Singer-songwriter Sarah Bareilles and Josh Groban, who have both recently performed on Broadway, will honor the gala's excellence in Broadway. CBS will air the event. Blake Lively scrubbed her Instagram account Monday to promote her new film. The 30-year-old actress deleted all of her photos and unfollowed her friends, including husband Ryan Reynolds, in support of her movie A Simple Favor. Lively replaced her biography with the question, "What happened to Emily?" She also followed 28 people named Emily Nelson, some of who expressed their confusion online. One person tweeted, "Does anyone want to tell me why Blake Lively followed me and had this as a bio? Goodbye, cruel world. Some hacker is anti-Emmy. My time has come." Lively plays a character named Emily Nelson in A Simple Favor. The film stars Anna Kendrick as a blogger who investigates her best friend, played by Lively's, disappearance from their small town. Director Paul Feig told Hollywood Streams at CinemaCon in April, "I've always been looking for a kind of Hitchcockian-style thriller. This one provided that. Lots of great twists and turns, but also 2 very fun, compelling characters." A Simple Favor opens in theaters September 14th. The exact cause of Avicii's death has been revealed according to TMZ, which reports that the 28-year-old Swedish DJ took his own life by cutting himself with a broken wine bottle. In a statement released last week, the family of Avicii, known as Tim Birdling, alluded to suicide as the cause of his death. They wrote, "Our beloved Tim was a seeker and a fragile artistic soul searching for answers to essential questions, an overachieving perfectionist who traveled and worked hard at a pace that led to extreme stress. When he stopped touring, he wanted to find a balance in life to be happy and be able to do what he loved most, music. He really struggled with thoughts about meaning, life, happiness. He could not go any longer. He wanted to find peace." Throughout his career, Avicii dealt with numerous health problems, including acute pancreatitis, in part to his excessive drinking. In 2014, he had surgery to remove his gallbladder and appendix. These issues eventually led Avicii to retire from touring in 2016, though he continued to make new music. Avicii's body was found on April 20th in Muscat, Oman, where he had been on vacation. A subsequent autopsy found no criminal suspicion in his death. And now let's take a look at what happened on this date in entertainment history. On this date in 2008, Iron Man is released. Iron Man, the latest big-budget action film based on a Marvel Comics character, debuted in some 4,100 theaters in the United States and Canada, raking an estimate of $32.5 million in its opening day. Co-created by Stan Lee, the legendary writer, editor behind Spider-Man, the Fantastic Four, X-Men, and the Incredible Hulk, among others, Iron Man made his first appearance in the pages of Marvel's comic books in 1963. The superhero treks to the big screen began in 1990 when Universal Studios purchased the film rights for Marvel. The rights were later sold to 20th Century Fox and then to New Line Cinema before Marvel Studios reacquired them in 2006. The $150 million movie was the first to be financed completely by Marvel, which together with the distributor Paramount Pictures poured another $75 million into a wide-range marketing campaign. Iron Man star Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark, the billionaire owner of a company that manufactures and sells high-tech weapons. While in Afghanistan to demonstrate a new weapons of mass destruction, so-called Jericho missile, Stark is violently seized as a hostage by a terrorist group who demands that he makes one of the missiles for them. Instead, Stark manages to build a powerful suit of armor that allows him to escape. When he returns home and finds that his company is involved in illicit weapons trading with potentially devastating consequences, he refines his new high-tech armor in order to transform himself into Iron Man and defeat the nefarious scheme. Downey was an Oscar nominee for his portrayal of the comedic actor Charlie Chaplin in the 1992 biopic Chaplin, but had more recently became known for his struggles with drug addiction. A surprise choice for Iron Man, he unveiled a newly buff physique for the role, and critics almost universally hailed his suave, charismatic performance as the film's central triumph. Terrence Howard co-starred as Stark's Air Force officer friend, while Gwyneth Paltrow played his adoring assistant, and Jeff Bridges was his business partner, Obadiah Stane. Iron Man's director Jon Favreau first made his name in Hollywood as the screenwriter and star of Swingers. Favreau previously co-starred in another less successful comic book adaptation, 2003's Daredevil, with Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner. As a director, he helmed the high-profile comedies Elf in 2003, starring Will Ferrell, and the fantasy film Zathura in 2005. After a $51 million opening weekend, Iron Man went on to gross more than $300 million at the domestic box office. It released a kicked off a summer packed with superhero movies, including the big screen returns of The Incredible Hulk, Batman, and Hellboy. Like Batman Begins in 2005, Iron Man told the story of a superhero's origins, and like the earlier films, which was itself a prequel to 3 previous modern Batman films, its ending siege easily into a sequel planned for April 2010. And that is your entertainment report for Wednesday, May 2nd, 2018. I'm your host, Mr. Downtown Melo. I'll be back tomorrow to deliver some major stories and trends going on in the world of entertainment and beyond. You can follow the show on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Facebook.com/The Entertainment Report with Ray Melo. That's RAYMELO. On Twitter at The Enter Report, or on Instagram at The Entertainment Report. You can listen to this episode or any previous episodes of The Entertainment Report anytime you want on iHeartRadio. Just go to iHeart.com or your iHeart phone app, search for The Entertainment Report, and it'll take you to the page. Good night, and God bless you all.